It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another week's episode of the Tuesday segment on the MSD on 117.8. I'm currently at the airport in the layover on my way back to Florida. I was just in LA for a very special event, right, for the AP Blessing, and to both help out and as a very lucky guest to be able to join. And because I'm once again going to arrive back in Florida at like 5 a.m. on Monday, that's about the time when Rachel and I have to send the MSC recording to Pastor Sky. And I was like, there's no way, because I would arrive at 5 and then head back to Gainesville. I'm flying into Orlando, and that's a 2-hour drive from Gainesville. So you have a red-eye flight arriving 5 a.m. and then driving 2 hours to Gainesville, and so there was no way I could record something and get it to him in time. And so I was here, and the last time I tried to record at the airport, especially when it was just like an audio recording, it was super loud and you couldn't really hear much. So I wanted to record a video because at least that way I think the context of the sound and the video it matches a bit better. But I'm really glad to once again be able to be here with everyone. I really hope that you all had a great weekend and was able to really receive the word well. I think during the blessing, our AP headquarters, they were mentioning how this is really the word, right? Like this week's, he gave us a teaser for the Sunday message, and he said this is the message that really the new blessed couples need to hear, right? And the message was about relying on God, and he said this is the thing that you will need throughout your whole life and through your whole relationship. And it was really true, and it was such an amazing event. And I think one of the things that I really want to highlight is for all of the guests who came, and then for the staff, right, who were there. Some of the people who were there were are people who've been in Providence like a very long time, like 10, 20, some probably like 30 plus years, right? Like actually, some of the parents who were there as guests, they've been in Providence for well over 30 years. So it was so amazing. Of the people who were helping, is one of the most moving things for me was there were people who were quite old, right? Like of the people who were helping, and I'm not gonna specify who it is, but like old in the sense that like they were doing so much. And in terms of like preparation for the event and like even physical like labor, right? Like decorating and cleaning and preparing like even food and all of these things like that, like even as someone who is like 30 years younger than them, even I would find tiring. And the reason why I bring this up and the reason why I was so moved by this is it's really not easy, right? And like when you think about the reason why all of the guests were there, all of the staff were there, and I'm sure everyone, right, in spirit, right, because so many people wanted to come, and everyone will have the opportunity to celebrate together, as you go forward. But the reason why this was so important was that, like, even though they were beyond exhausted, like some of the staff members, they were beyond exhausted every day, right? Like both the participants were exhausted, right? But like the staff members were extremely tired, but they put in so much work for this entire period. And the reason why this is so important is because for the blessing, this is something that isn't just given to the couple who were getting married, but it's a blessing for all of Providence, right? And something said that in the message for the blessed couples, that this is an event that makes the Trinity so happy. This is an event that makes something so happy, and this is an event that makes all of us so happy. And this is really true, right? Like it's such an important thing for all of Providence, and that was the only reason why all of the, especially the staff who were helping, that they could do what they were doing, right? Because they were so joyful and thankful for this, like to God, that this is the case. And and it's not just a blessing, but for those who choose to live like fulfilling God's purpose of creation by living only for God, right? And not getting physically married, right? Something you mentioned them too in the message. And it's true, right? Like it's about fulfilling the purpose of creation and fulfilling it in terms of the blessing, and also fulfilling it by living as He does, right? Like without getting married and living only for God. Those two things are so important, and it's really something to be celebrated, right? All of us together is something really to be celebrated. And so I was really thankful to once again be reminded by seeing these new blessed couples here in AP, and also to see everyone else there, because everyone there were people who fulfill this purpose of creation and that are living according to the purpose of creation. And everyone who is listening to this too, right? For making it to the end. And actually Pastor Scott was like, oh, it'd be great if you could do some interviews with the people who were there. And I really wanted to, but it was such a jam-packed weekend. Then I was like meeting with people left and right. Even after the Sunday service, it was the one chance I've had to see the high schoolers and the middle schoolers at the LA church in a long time, and man, they've all grown up so much. But because of that, I think after service I had lunch with them, and then after that, I was meeting with some leaders about different things, and then preparing even for the next blessing. And so even by the time I got to the airport, I couldn't change out of my Sunday clothes. So it was really a jam-packed event. There wasn't an opportunity to interview other people. But I really wanted to take the time to share that, right? The blessing is for all of us, and for those who fulfill the purpose of creation by living only for God, it's for all of us, right? And the fact that people have made it to the end, relying on God, not giving up, and making it to this point, that is really, really a huge blessing for all of us, and it's so moving. And so each person listening to this and seeing this at home, you fulfilling the purpose of creation too is a blessing for everyone else, right? For each of us, right? And so if you choose to make it to the end, right, no matter what happens in your life, right, with all of the things that the Trinity have taught us through the man and mission of this time period, if you make it to the end with that, it is a blessing for the person next to you, and for the other members there, for everyone else on the MSD, and for something new, and for all of heaven. And so I really hope that you continue to fulfill the purpose of creation, that each of us continue to do together, and that we celebrate one another as well, right? Like to the point like the staff members did, that even though no matter how tired they are, right, they really put their life on the line this weekend. There was one person I was really moved by. So many people I'm grateful for, but one person, she just went above and beyond to prepare all of the food and all of the decorations, and you could tell from the distance that she was tired, but she still pushed through anyway. And it was really amazing, because the day after, I think she actually saw a nature revelation, right, after all the hard work. And yeah, and I was able to see the picture she took, and it was really, really amazing. But yeah, so that was kind of the reflections from this event. And we have so many people to be grateful for, and I don't know if any of the new blessed couples get to see this, but we really have to thank every single person who helped, right? And it's so important to acknowledge all of the people with the unsung heroes, who were working in the background. For me, there's a pastor from headquarters for my blessing, before going to Korea, even from the first day and through the whole process, she worked with us from the very beginning to the end. And there were leaders in the middle who worked and coordinated everything with Korea, and it was so important. And I remember that first day, when we like finally got together in person to like start the process, we had to listen to education and connect with Korea. And even in Korea, it was a long day. Like they started probably at like 8 a.m. and it went to like 8 p.m. Right? So imagine how tiring it must have been like in Korea. But for us, we started at like 8 p.m. at night on Saturday and then went until 8 a.m. the next day. Right? No, actually like 9 a.m. Right? Like I remember I went to 9 a.m. and then we had Sunday service right after that. So that was our first day for this. And during this process, this person who was helping us, she stayed with us the entire time, right? From 8 p.m. to like 8 a.m. Right? I think she eventually probably left around like 5 a.m. or so, but that was like when we were starting to talk to the other candidates. So, she wasn't necessary, but she stayed with us the entire time. And the amazing thing with these staff members is like they really know our hearts, and I think like even like one step above that, like they do this on behalf of something, right? Like it's no amount of compensation, no amount of like material gain could compensate them for those efforts, because it was beyond exhausting. And even as like someone who's participating, there's joy and but there's also like it's also very tiring. But for like the staff member, even though like they themselves aren't going through the process, they put in even more effort in many ways than the participants did too. And so I think it's so important to acknowledge everyone. It's not just them, right? It's siblings, it's family members, it's like the people who evangelize, the people who manage, the members at church. Everyone is like involved in the process of praying and preparing. And even like within like the participants' lives, right? Even if you may not even know that someone was going to the blessing, but you were there to help them in some sense, right? And even just by fulfilling the purpose of creation on your end, you're helping these new blessed couples go on their path of journey in their life, right? Because it's all intertwined, like all of our lives and our faiths all together. So just want to thank all the staff members, all of the guests who came, and everyone at home for all of your help with the blessing, with my own as well. And for anyone who is watching who got blessed at this time, whether in the US or one of the other countries who are listening, I really hope that you also take the time to thank all of those around you, right? Which I'm sure you are, but so many people, right? And the person that we know has done the most is 선생님, and all of the people as this body have helped really with this process too. And for those who are fulfilling the purpose of creation in a myriad of other ways, living only for God, thank you so much too for fulfilling the purpose of creation in that sense, and for supporting us, and for allowing us to support you, and for allowing us to have this community and this bond and this relationship with each of you guys as well. I just wanted to say that I love you guys so much, and I wanted to take the time to greet each and every person there. So see you guys next time. Bye.
Hello and welcome back to our Tuesday segment. Rachel here for 2G Talks. We're going to go ahead and get started away, so let's begin. Yes, how was your past week? How was your past weekend? I can't believe, can you guys believe it? We're already in the third week of November. Thanksgiving is next week, one of my favorite holidays. What are you guys planning on doing? Anything fun? A lot of food? I know here we're going to be having a church potluck, and then of course a typical normal family potluck, or I should say Thanksgiving dinner. I would say the one thing that I'm doing different this year for Thanksgiving, and this Thanksgiving talk is going to be very short, very brief, before I get into the main topic for today. But actually, I can't remember the last time I had Thanksgiving with my dad. Recently, though, I had dinner with him, or I should say breakfast, and we were eating together. It was a great conversation. It was a lot of fun. And I just happened to ask him what he was doing for Thanksgiving. And he didn't really have anything in mind. Usually he does like a Friendsgiving or something with people he knows. But he suggested that we have breakfast together for Thanksgiving. So I'm actually really looking forward to that. He said we're going to be making pancakes, probably some bacon, cooking together. And I think it'll just be really nice. It'll be something we haven't done in a while. And I'm hoping to be able to make a tradition for the next couple of years. A tradition I'm really trying to do is actually a little bit crazier. I'm trying to start, and everyone hates it. Have y'all seen the show or the movie Sweeney Todd? It is so good. It's really wonderful. Well, it's a dark musical. So the ending is sad. There's a little bit of gore, but it is about a barber who has this really horrible story, and he kills people, and the way that they hide it is they put it into the pies that the downstairs neighbor cooks. I forget her name. So it sounds really gruesome and it sounds really terrible, but it's just beautifully done. Johnny Depp is in it. He's the main character, Sweeney Todd. And then Helena Botman Carter, I think is her name. She's the woman that helps to, dispose of the unmentionables of the, So it sounds crazy, but I assure you, the blood, it looks fake and all that type of stuff, but the music is just so good, and I try and watch it every year, and I always tell my mom, I'm like, no, we have to watch it during Thanksgiving so we can be thankful we're alive. I always tell her that, and she just rolls her eyes at me. So if you're curious, feel free to watch that. I have a lot of other movie options and recommendations that I really enjoy sharing, and so if you're interested, please feel free. But that's one of my top picks. It is a musical, so there is singing. If you hate that, don't watch it. It is a little more on the depressing, dark, gore side, so just keep that in mind as well. But I really enjoy it. Anyways, the main part of today's 2G Talks that I wanted to talk about actually is a dream that one of my really good friends, who is a member, her mother had, who's not a member. And I'll be paraphrasing quite a bit. But this dream was really impactful for me and really gave me a deep insight. And so I hope it gives you a lot of strength and hope as well. And I didn't want to share too much because I think Eddie is going to have a really awesome, fun segment. So I just wanted to give my little my 2 cents for this week. And hopefully next week I'll have plenty more to share with you, especially it'll be on the theme of giving glory and giving thanksgiving to God. So please definitely look forward to next week. But yes, so for this week, really good member of mine. She's been in Providence. She just passed her 3 years, so congratulations. And she has recently been praying for her parents. Her parents are a part of the former faith. Her father is a former faith pastor, a really strong Christian. And her mother used to be someone who was very strong in her faith. But recently, considering her profession, and she's constantly working with people who are not in the faith, right? Not Christian. Her mother has started to kind of, I don't want to say doubt, but had questions arise regarding Christianity and salvation and things like that. And so Anna Marie just told her mom, okay, let's pray, I'll pray for you type of deal. And so that's what they had been doing recently. I want to say this past week, my friend, the member, sends me a voice recording of the dream her mother had. So this is not the member's dream, actually. This is the mother's dream. So the mom told her, in the dream, her and her daughter, who's the member, they were going to a wedding. More importantly, they were going to a wedding banquet. The mom was very specific on that. She said it wasn't just a wedding, it was a wedding banquet. Already, that's crazy, right, guys? So, the member, her daughter, and the mom were going to this wedding banquet. And it was the largest, biggest, most extravagant, tremendous banquet the mother had ever seen before. She was so shocked, so amazed by it. And she said that they were going in and there was all these other, people and girls and food and all these incredible things. And the member, she went to go say hi and hang out with some of the other girls that were already there at the banquet. And so the mom just kind of stayed and was just, looking around. But then all of a sudden, she said that the bride and the bridegroom came in. And that they were there, right? And I suppose, like, the mom, she couldn't really see, but she knew the bride and the bridegroom are coming. They're coming. And so she started looking for her daughter, the member, my friend. She started looking for her, but she couldn't find her. And so she's looking and she's looking and she's looking. And she's like, where's my daughter? Where did she go? And eventually she comes to the realization that my daughter, the member, left with the other girls to go with the bridegroom and the bride. And so the mom continuously was looking like, okay, maybe I can get a phone, like maybe I can call her, maybe I can figure us out. And that's how the dream ended. So it's a short dream, but isn't that insane? So it wasn't a member, again, I want to preface this, it wasn't a member who actually had this dream about a wedding banquet. It was the mother of a member who's not at all in Providence, doesn't know anything. Isn't that insane? And the vernacular, the words that were being used, the wedding banquet, that's so specific. And that the bride and bridegroom came. When I was told this dream, I was just in awe. I was so shocked. Because, of course, when you hear the messages and the word, naturally we just become comfortable. We're like, yeah, it's the wedding banquet, the complete testament history, the bride history. Yeah, we get it, sure. But honestly, for myself, I forget it in reality. But hearing this dream of someone who's not in Providence, who doesn't really know, who knows nothing, have this dream of a member going to a wedding banquet and meeting the bride and bridegroom, it just reminded me how real this history is. And it was like a shock to my brain, honestly. And I was just once again so moved. And I felt this fire, like, oh my gosh, I have to run. I want to be one of those girls, right? I want to go with the bridegroom, right? We should all be people going with the bridegroom. So it's a short Tuesday Talks for today, because again, next week I'll be sharing much more on Thanksgiving and giving glory to God. But I just wanted to share this really moving dream that I received, and once again remind everyone that this history is real and this history is significant and it is profound. And although, for myself too, I'm not someone who's very spiritual, so I don't see things and I don't have dreams or hear things. Just because we can't see or hear doesn't mean that it's not real, and that this history is not real. And really, we just need to have faith and believe and really acknowledge that the word Samsonim tells us is it's the truth. It's everything in the Bible, it's absolutely the truth. What Jesus tells us, it's the truth. And being able to be a part of this history and knowing that and receiving absolute eternal salvation, I'm truly so grateful and thankful to be a part of this history. So yeah, even though it's difficult, even though there may be trials and tribulations, let's not listen to what people say, but only listen to what our beloved Holy Son Lord Jesus Christ says. Yes. So with that, I know, super short. I think this might be my shortest Tuesday Talks ever. But I'll go ahead and conclude here. I hope you really enjoyed our Tuesday segment. As always, please feel free to leave a like, comment, or you can email Eddie and I at tuesdaytalks@gmail.com. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
It's the Morning Star Drive 117.8. You soaring up with sky, now's the time, don't delay. I'm sitting in my ride and it's time to fly. So let's realign, just listen and fill your mind.
I'm burning with desire and the passion.